Picture this, a single stretch of water, just 21 miles wide. And every 10 minutes, another gigantic supertanker squeezes through, hauling the oil that keeps the world running. It's called the Strait of Hormuz. Right now, it's the world's ultimate choke point, a literal bottleneck for 20% of globally traded oil. But here's the wild part. The actual shipping lane? Just 2 miles wide in each direction. That's barely wider than a regular city avenue. Imagine all the oil for nearly half the planet's population crammed through a channel narrower than the distance from Central Park to the Hudson River. Now zoom out. In 2026, this sliver of ocean moves 20 million barrels of oil a day. That's enough to fill 1,260 Olympic swimming pools every single sunrise. And it isn't just crude. Another 5 million barrels of refined gasoline, diesel, and jet fuel pour through, more than Germany uses in a whole day. Plus, 20% of all liquefied natural gas traded globally, most of it from Qatar, crosses Hormuz. That's enough energy to power every home in Japan for a day, every single day. So why is this tiny sliver of water so important? Because it's surrounded by some of the world's biggest energy producers, and none of them have a real backup. Saudi Arabia alone exports over 5.4 million barrels per day through the strait, more than the entire daily output of the USA. Iraq? 3.32 million barrels a day, about equal to France and Spain's total oil use combined. The UAE and Kuwait? They ship millions more, despite having some pipelines. Over 85% of Gulf oil exports still depend on Hormuz. Here's where the scale gets real. Every 10 minutes, a new supertanker crosses. If you lined up all 144 that pass in a single day, they'd stretch over 1,000 miles, from New York down to Miami. And for the economies waiting on that oil, China, India, Japan, and South Korea are the 4 most dependent, almost 40% of humanity counting on this one fragile artery. A single day's disruption here? Over $1 trillion in global GDP is instantly at risk. That's more than Apple, Microsoft, and Amazon make in a year, vanishing in 24 hours. But wait, what happens if the plug gets pulled? In April 2026, even a partial closure sent oil prices rocketing to $115 per barrel, up 60% in days. Gas stations from Tokyo to Chicago felt it immediately. The economic shock wasn't just headlines. Even a quarter closure in 2026 wiped out 0.2% of global GDP growth. That's 180 billion gone. Enough to erase New Zealand's entire annual economy. And here's the kicker. Pipelines can't save us. The Saudi East-West line? Max 5 million barrels per day. The UAE's Habshan-Fujairah? 1.5 million. That's a fraction of the 20 million Hormuz usually handles. It's like trying to squeeze every subway rider in Manhattan onto one overcrowded train. Most people just aren't getting to work. The rest of the world waits. That's why the U.S. Fifth Fleet is always on patrol here. Warships shadowing every supertanker, like a police escort for the planet's most valuable cargo. Iran knows it too. Nearly every big regional crisis since 2011 has come with threats to close the strait, a bargaining chip that shakes the entire global economy. So next time you gas up or fly across the world, remember, it all rides on 21 miles of blue water. An artery so thin, the world holds its breath every time it flares. One choke, one flare-up, and oil prices could explode to $150, even $200 a barrel. Think what that would do to your bank account. It's just a slip of sea, but it's the plug that could empty your wallet, ground your plane, and send shockwaves from Wall Street to Shanghai in 24 hours. So here's the image to remember. 144 supertankers lined up, squeezed through a 2-mile gate. $1 trillion riding on each crossing. The entire world balanced on 21 miles of water.